My parents ignored my graduation until I landed a $5 million per month job. They remembered I existed. The auditorium buzzed with applause as graduates crossed the stage one by one. Families waved signs, held bouquets, and cheered loud enough to shake the walls. When my name echoed through the speakers, I stood, adjusted my cap, and walked toward the dean with a smile I had spent 4 years fighting to earn. I looked into the crowd. Thousands of faces. Not one belonged to my parents. I had saved 2 seats for them in the front row. They remained painfully empty. My phone vibrated just as I accepted my diploma. Mom, sorry, sweetheart. Your brother's soccer practice ran late. A second message arrived from Dad. Dad, we'll celebrate another time. Proud of you. Another time. Those words had followed me my entire life. When I won science fairs, they were busy. When I earned scholarships, they forgot. When I made the dean's list every semester, they simply said, "That's expected." Everything revolved around my younger brother, Tyler. He wasn't a bad person. He just grew up believing he deserved the spotlight because everyone gave it to him. That evening I ate graduation dinner alone at a small diner near campus. The waitress noticed the untouched second plate. "Someone running late?" she asked gently. I smiled. No. I finally stopped waiting. 5 years passed. I never cut my parents off. I simply stopped chasing their attention. I moved across the country, worked impossible hours, joined a tiny artificial intelligence startup, and eventually became the company's head of global partnerships. When the business exploded internationally, my compensation package became almost unbelievable. Performance bonuses, equity payouts, revenue sharing. Some months exceeded $5 million. Money wasn't what mattered. For the first time, people valued my ideas instead of overlooking them. One Monday morning my phone rang. Mom. I almost didn't answer. Sweetheart, she said with unusual excitement. We've been trying to reach you. I've been busy. We saw your interview on television. Of course. Not my graduation. Not my first apartment. Not my promotions. A television interview. Dad grabbed the phone. Son, we always knew you'd do great things. I stayed silent. He continued. Actually, we've been talking. About. We miss being a family. Interesting. 5 years of silence suddenly translated into missing me. Mom spoke again. You should come home this weekend. I agreed. Not because I expected anything different. Because I wanted answers. Saturday afternoon I walked into the same house where I had spent years trying to earn approval. Everything looked smaller. Even the living room. Mom hugged me longer than she ever had before. Dad smiled proudly. Tyler sat on the couch scrolling through his phone. He barely looked up. Dinner began pleasantly enough. Questions about work, travel, luxury hotels, private flights. Then Dad finally cleared his throat. So, there it was. The real conversation. We've had some financial setbacks. I nodded slowly. Mom reached across the table. We thought maybe family could help family. How? Dad slid a folder toward me. Business plans, mortgage statements, credit card debt. Tyler wanted to open a sports performance center. They needed investors. Specifically, me. It isn't much, Dad said casually. Only $3 million to get started. $3 million. He said it like asking someone to pass the salt. I looked around the table. No one had asked how lonely graduation felt. No one apologized for missing birthdays. No one wondered why I disappeared. They only knew my salary. Finally Tyler spoke. You can afford it. There wasn't even embarrassment in his voice. Just expectation. I quietly closed the folder. I probably can. Everyone smiled. Then I continued. But I won't. Silence swallowed the room. Mom blinked. What do you mean? I mean I spent 27 years trying to earn a place in this family. Dad frowned. That's unfair. Is it? I reached into my backpack and placed something on the table. A graduation program. Perfectly preserved. 2 unused guest tickets were still tucked inside. I carried these around for years. No one touched them. I kept thinking maybe someday we'd laugh about how you missed graduation. My voice stayed calm. But you never even asked what that day was like. Mom's eyes filled with tears. Dad stared at the tickets. I didn't need millions, I said softly. I needed parents. The room became unbearably quiet. Tyler finally looked up from his phone. For the first time all evening, no one had an answer. Dad whispered, "We made mistakes." "You did. We can fix this." I smiled sadly. "No." Mom began crying. "We've lost so much time." "Yes. But money can't buy back missed moments." I stood. "I didn't come here to punish you. I came because I needed you to understand something." Dad looked at me hopefully. "I became successful because I stopped trying to prove I mattered." I picked up my car keys. "If we ever build a relationship again, it won't start with a check. It starts with accountability." I hugged my mother, shook my father's hand, nodded respectfully toward Tyler. Then I walked to the front door. Behind me, nobody asked for money again. Months later, Dad called. Not to ask for another investment. Not to discuss business. He simply said, "I found your graduation picture online. I should have been there." For the first time, there were no excuses. Only truth. Sometimes the richest thing you can give people isn't money. It's the chance to realize exactly what they lost. Whether they choose to earn it back is entirely up to them.